I am pleased to introduce Dr. Edmund Vellani, who will introduce our keynote speaker, Professor Yunus. Ed Vellani has been a leader in the finance community since the 1970s, starting an investment management firm, Scudder, Stevens & Clark, where he spent the majority of his career. Rising from senior economist to president and chief investment officer and subsequently chief executive officer, Ed concluded his tenure as CEO of then Zurich Scudder Investments before its acquisition by Dutch Bank. He subsequently served as vice chairman of Dutch Asset Management North America. He is now a general partner with Intana Capital Management, LLC. He is a 1968 graduate of Georgetown University, where his interest in economics was sparked. He later received a doctorate in economics from the University of Pennsylvania. Ed is concluding his tenure this summer as chair of Georgetown's board of directors, where he says he has been motivated by a deep appreciation for the university's students, faculties, and mission to be a global university. In addition to his Georgetown service, Ed serves on the boards of the Colonial Williamsburg Foundation, Cohen & Steers Incorporated, and Crescent Asset Management, and on the investment committee of the Rockefeller Brothers Fund, where for 9 years he previously served as trustee and chair of the finance committee. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Dr. Edmund Vellani.
Thank you, Anna Maria. And before I get into the introduction, and we have lots of luminaries here today, but I want to make sure I recognize at least two of them who are sitting at various tables. I'd like to recognize Cardinal McCarrick, who's a great friend of the university. And our former president, Father Leroy O'Donovan, who's sitting over here to my left. I've had the great privilege and honor of chairing the board of directors for 7 years now, and it truly is a privilege and an honor. We've got a great board. We've got a board that's committed to Georgetown. It's committed to making it a great institution, and I feel very fortunate to be involved with that. We also are blessed, and he's not here so he can't blush, to have a great president who I can assure you is working hard to make sure that we continue to be a great university. He's in Washington today to meet with a Chinese delegation. Poor Jack has a calendar that few of us could keep up with. So as Anna Maria mentioned, I have an economics background. I always believe in full disclosure because then, and our guest speaker, our keynote speaker today is an economist, I, like he, have heard all the jokes about economists, about one-handed, two-handed economists, comparisons with accountants and the like, and how there are real questions as to the relevancy of economics and economists, for that matter. And I must admit that probably most of us spend our lives kind of dancing around the fringes of the dissertations we wrote to maybe add something at the margin. Our keynote speaker today, Dr. Mohammed Yunus, decided he wanted to do something much greater than that. He wanted to relieve the world of poverty. And if you look at the title of his 2008 book, it's just that, Creating a World Without Poverty. And you talk about big goals, you talk about making a difference. You can't make much more of a difference than that. In your folders, you have a brief biography of Dr. Yunus. I won't take you through all of it, but as I mentioned, he has a doctorate. He was trained here in the United States, taught in the United States for a while before moving back to Bangladesh in 1972 when it was in the midst of its battle for independence. But even at that stage, was focused on a career in teaching. And in the course of that, and with famine, poverty all around him in Bangladesh, began to challenge the relevance of the economic models that we're working with. And a good challenge at that. And started to spend more time in the villages. And one of the things he learned as he spent time with the people in the villages was how they were victims to money lending and how difficult it was for them to rise above poverty given the way the system worked. And as he interviewed a number of these people, he found out that $27 could make a huge difference, the equivalent of $27. Now think about that. In this world today, where we're talking about bailing out banks, not with millions, not with billions, but with trillions of dollars, he actually handed the equivalent of $27 to 40-plus people in the fields. And as they say in sports, the rest is history. Because that really was the beginning of the formation of the Grameen Bank, which was formed many years later. And if you look at the statistics today, the Grameen Bank has lent, over the course of its existence, $6 billion. It lends to 7 million people, 93% of whom are women, and that's a story in and of itself. The repayment rate on these loans, and listen, all of you bankers, is about 99%. Astounding when you think of it. So that was the beginning of microfinance. And the effect is obviously beyond these 7 million people and these 78,000 villagers because it's huge in the rest of the world, including India. So he's made a huge difference. But it's not a story just about finance, because at the heart of it, and the real difference is, it's about dealing with individuals. It's about dignity and self-respect. It's about a new model for the way we do things. And as all of you know, particularly with the crisis here in America and around the world, the financial crisis, we're all challenging the models with which we work. It just happened that Dr. Yunus started doing it about 30 years ago. And in those intervening 30 years has made a huge difference. In 2002, my classmate and our keynote speaker this evening, Bill Clinton, said, "Dr. Yunus is a man who long ago should have won the Nobel Prize." And I'll keep saying that until they finally give it to him. Well, they finally did give it to him. And he won the Nobel Peace Prize in 2006. And we're very fortunate to have with us today Dr. Muhammad Yunus.
Thank you.